So who would like to change how they feel? Jane?
Yeah.
Come on up. So go ahead and, if you can, maybe, get rid of your purse. And Belinda, if we have time, we'll do this with you too. Okay?
I'm the person.
Come on, so people can see you. Okay. Do you have gum in your mouth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can I have it?
Sure.
We need a Kleenex or something.
Thank you.
Okay.
What do you want me to talk about myself?
No, I don't want you to talk too much at all. You don't need to talk too much. So what is, can you think of an area of your life where you don't feel the way you want to feel and you'd like to feel different? So it could be like work, it could be a relationship, it could be with your kids.
I'm actually the person kind of like don't take the risk for being wrong. And I would like to be always right. I want to be the first in the classroom. I want to get straight A's. I want to have a really successful life, a really good relationship with my husband, which doesn't happen. Well, it's good because we only married for a couple of years.
Okay, can I pause you?
Yeah.
So notice I'm hearing criteria. I haven't heard anything about a feeling. That's what I was actually asking about.
Oh.
Okay. So, but let's. I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then we might play with Belinda a little bit. So the thing is that, so if you've got a lot of criteria in your mind about what you want, right? What that tells me about Jane is she's also got a lot of criteria in her mind about what she doesn't want.
Yes.
And she's excellent at noticing when she's not getting
Yes.
what she doesn't want, right?
Yeah.
When you are getting what you don't want, you're very good at noticing that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And have you noticed that that when you're more stressed, you're better at it?
Yes.
Right. In fact, when you're really stressed, sometimes you get so fixated on it, you can't let go of it.
Yeah.
Even though 90% or 95% of things might be just fine, you'll get hung up on that 5%.
Yes.
And it's very hard to let go.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Now, do you see how it might be important to know that about her before I even work with her? Right? Because what happens is if Jane comes in and I try to put Jane into any kind of coaching program or weight loss program, and you, of course, I would never recommend weight loss for you. Okay, just wanted to caveat. But if I was to put her in some sort of program that was a long-term program, required a lot of steps, I know ahead of time I got to be careful on two things. Number one, how she sets up her goal and her expectations ahead of time. I know that it's very likely, based on what I'm seeing, that her goals and expectations are going to be overly rigid and overly specific, which means the odds of her getting frustrated and disappointed when reality doesn't match up is guaranteed. And it's guaranteed to be sooner than it would be for the average bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like if someone like your husband who really loves you and sees you going through this, right, you've probably had many instances with him where you're really stressed and anxious and upset about something. He's going, sweetheart, it's no big deal. You're doing great. Keep going.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
Drives you crazy. That's right. So it lets me know there's certain themes that would be really useful to focus on with Jane that I would let go of with other people. Now again, this is the power of learning NLP and doing this, because you can see this ahead of time. I know that in a program she's going to always appear to be the best student in the room in the beginning. And the untrained coach, the untrained hypnotist working with her will never see this coming. They'll just think, oh my God, I've got it easy with Jane. And they won't be warning her from the get-go. They won't be setting it up to have her notice that pattern is occurring. And so what would happen is she would go along, appear to be doing great, and then all of a sudden one day I wouldn't hear from Jane anymore. And Jane would be bye-bye. And we wouldn't know why. And chances are it's because at some point when Jane went to evaluate how she was doing, the internal criticism and judgment, whether it was on herself or on the program or on me or on her husband or on whoever, would be so intense she'd want to disconnect and get away from it. And so I bet there's been several goals in your life that you started to pursue, and after a while you just had to completely disconnect and turn your back on it and walk away.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Okay, good. So I'd like you to think of a hurt that you had in your nervous system, a hurt that you have in your nervous system. And I'd like you to think of particularly one with someone who you have to see a lot now.
Okay.
Because that would actually be useful now, right? If it's someone that you knew 20 years ago that you're never going to see again, that's not going to be super useful,
Okay.
right? Let's do it with someone that you have now.
Yes.
And you got one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being it really bothers me, 0 it doesn't bother me at all,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If I may, I'm going to ask you to unclasp your hands. Unclasp your hands. Anytime someone does this, they close themselves up a little bit,
Okay.
right? What feels more open? If I'm like this, or if I'm like this, or this, or this, right? Okay, right?
Okay.
And again, none of this means anything about you,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
I want you to imagine if you really embodied the idea that there is no failure, there's only feedback.
Okay.
See, the thing is to go into judgment, to plug our self-worth into it, and to make it mean something about us as a human being is kind of like playing God. And I don't recommend that. I also can tell you in practicality, it makes achieving a goal infinitely harder if you have to stop and judge your self-worth every step along the way. Okay? So you got something like that. On a scale of 0 to 10, I want you to go there now. So close your eyes for a minute, go there, see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Go there and relive it, because I'm sure you've done it a couple times already. That experience as if you were there, that icky moment or what have you. And on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being really intense, really awful, 0 doesn't bother me at all. Where are you on that scale, 0 to 10?
I'll say 9.
9. Okay, good. Now what I want you to do is I just want you to make a picture. One still frame, like a little Polaroid picture of that whole incident. You got one? Don't have to tell me what it is. We're not going to go into any content at all. You got it? Okay, good. Now open your eyes. Put that picture right on the tip of my pen. And let me know when it's there.
Okay.
Okay, now all I want you to do is I want you to stare at that picture, and I want you to think and think of that event and hold it on that picture, and don't move your head at all. Don't move your head. Try not to move your body. And I want you to follow the tip of my pen while thinking about that event. Okay? Just try to hold on the tip of the pen. I know it's going to, keep your head still, keep your head still. Okay? Just follow the tip of the pen to the best of your ability. It's going to be, you're only going to be able to go so far. Right? No, keep it on the tip of my pen. Okay, let's start again.
Okay.
That's right. Remember, there's no way you cannot do this wrong.
Okay.
Okay? Put it right on the tip of the pen. Got it? Okay, good. Here we go. Just follow it to the best of my ability. I'm going to stretch your ability here. Okay. Now what I'm doing, folks, is I'm having her hold the image and think about the incident while she's moving her eyes all around through these different quadrants. And what this does is it's helping her access different parts of her brain. A lot of times when we have a particular emotion or a feeling or a memory, and when we access that memory, we tend to lock into one particular position in our brains. Stephen Gilligan, Irina may remember, recently referred to that as neuromuscular lock. And so all we're doing is, this is like, has everyone here seen The Wizard of Oz? Okay, now you're keeping that picture there, right? For me? Okay, good. Right? In The Wizard of Oz, remember when they find the Tin Man? And he's like, I need a little oil, right? And they give him a little oil and he starts to loosen up. And then pretty soon he's able to move again. And so one of the presuppositions of NLP is that the unconscious will always make the best choice available to it at the time. Always. Always. And so if we add in more choice, and that choice is better and feels better, it'll automatically take it. Okay? And if you remember early when we started today, I said a lot of times when you get stuck, your eyes have to go to a certain position every single time to do that. Okay? Now, the other great thing about NLP is you can actually test it. You can actually know how well it's working, and you can go back and do more. So a lot of times doing a good NLP technique is like chopping down a tree. right? If you take a couple whacks out of the tree, right, and the bark falls off and you start to cut through it, just because the tree hasn't fallen over yet doesn't mean you're not done. It just may mean you need to give it a couple more whacks until the tree falls over, okay? So forget about all that. What's the second to the last digit of your mobile phone number? Just the second to the last digit. It's kind of a weird question, isn't it?
The last second? Sorry.
Second to the last digit. So not the last digit, but the one right before it.
Yes.
What is it?
9.
Okay, it's 9. That's called, in NLP we call that a break state. Just kind of gives us a clean bookmark between states, okay? So what I'd like you to do now is just think of that thing, look out there so everyone can see the expression on your face, and think of that thing you thought of just a moment before, whatever it was. Try to see it again, and try to go there again just like you did before, seeing what you saw, hearing what you heard, feeling what you felt. And on a scale of 0 to 10, notice what it's like now. And then re-rate it for me.
How to reread it? Right?
Re-rate it. On a scale 0 to 10, just like we did before. 10 is like totally awful, horrible, horrendous. 0 being wouldn't bother me at all.
I would say 4 to 5.
4 to 5. So everyone see that went from a 9 down to a 4 to 5. Now here's another interesting thing. I want you to try and get back that old feeling. Because sometimes what will happen is we'll kind of check it out and we think it's going to be really bad and we kind of almost assume a little bit. But I actually want you to try and get back that old feeling. Try and get it back. And sometimes what you'll notice is the more you try to get it back, the more it's gone. Because when your unconscious realizes it has a choice, it makes the better choice. It doesn't always happen that way. It doesn't have to always happen that way. But sometimes it does happen that way. So put the picture right on the tip of my pen, okay? Follow the pen, hold that image in mind. Try to hold that thought, hold those feelings in mind, right on the tip of the pen, almost like you're watching a roller coaster, back and forth, up, down. Always go up in the middle, keeps people from getting dizzy, right? Okay, great, shake that off. What's your favorite invisible color? That's a trick question. Okay, so shake that off. Okay? All right. Think of that incident again.
Okay.
Try and get it back. 0 to 10, tell me where you're at.
0.
Honestly, try and get it back.
No.
Would it be okay if the more you tried to get it back, the more you couldn't get it back? Would that be okay?
Yeah, well, like, why do I bother?
Really try to get it back. Just one last time, just really try to get it back.
No, I'm happy now. I don't want to go back.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I see.
Now, before we did this, whenever you thought about it, it was just always there. And now I'm asking you to actively try and get it back, and you can't get it back. Is that right?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, it feels like it's become something that won't bother me anymore.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
Okay. Jane, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, have a seat. Okay. Now here's the deal. It may not always go that smooth, and that's okay, right? The great thing about NLP, I just want to remind you all, is that it's not like a MacGyver show where we're diffusing a bomb and it's like red wire, green wire. If we click the wrong one, the whole place blows. Thank God. And it's not brain surgery where if you cut the wrong thing, it's game over. Okay? That's the cool thing about it. It's a no harm approach, and it's a non-judgmental approach. Real quick, Belinda,